The narrative unfolds, revealing the story of a dream unfulfilled, a profound truth veiled by perception. Once, there existed an enigmatic figure, whose nature, whether mystic or madman, remained indiscernible to all. For 40 days, he traversed the desolate expanse of the desert, intoning whispers into the void until the firmament above fractured, rent asunder like tattered cloth. In that moment, he witnessed an unvarnished truth. Not celestial beings, nor divine entities, but rather an intricate tapestry of symbols, patterns, a luminous scaffolding of light and ideation projected from within his own being. The desert, he realized, served as a profound mirror, the gods, mere masks, and his prolonged suffering, a self-imposed, recursive cycle within the code authored by his subconscious mind. Following this revelation, he maintained a profound silence for 7 years. For once the fundamental deception is laid bare, one ceases to applaud the charade. This, then, is the concealed verity they purposefully omit. Reality itself is a reflection, a self-regulating feedback loop simulated not by mechanical constructs, but by the very essence of mind. Your subconscious generates the intricate terrain of your experience, while your superconscious, the higher architect, Salulu, orchestrates the parameters of engagement. What we commonly term life is, in essence, a waking dream, your neural apparatus hallucinating with exquisite and intricate precision. The instant you react, you succumb to the illusion, re-entering the self-perpetuating cycle and thereby feeding the mirage. But what if you chose otherwise? What if, instead of merely reacting to the projected hologram, you were to simply transcend it? What if you ceased to respond to the ghosts of your outdated programming and fundamentally restructured the simulation entirely? This transformative endeavor is our collective purpose. Let us commence. You were ushered into a predetermined narrative, yet no one ever disclosed that it was not of your own making. From the very inception of your awareness, you were ascribed identities, a name, a nation, a set of desires, none chosen by you, all meticulously scripted by what Jung termed the collective unconscious, a primal psychic operating system far predating language itself. It communicates not through explicit discourse, but through the profound resonance of archetypes, the nurturing mother, the oppressive tyrant, the valiant hero, the suffering scapegoat. These are not mere mythical constructs, they are deeply ingrained neural templates, preloaded avatars that intrinsically structure how you perceive, choose, obey, or capitulate. You may believe you are exercising free will, yet you often inhabit a predetermined role, a costume handed to you by a dream you never authored. Modern neuroscience now corroborates the ancient whispers of mystics. Your brain does not passively perceive reality, but actively predicts it. According to the free energy principle, your neural apparatus constructs a world of probabilities, meticulously minimizing surprise and reiterating ingrained patterns, effectively simulating outcomes before their experiential manifestation. You are not witnessing objective reality, you are, in fact, hallucinating what your past experiences dictate should be. Herein lies the insidious snare. If you neglect to update this underlying code, you are condemned to relive the same recursive loop, merely with different actors and varied backdrops, yet perpetually experiencing the same fundamental pain. What Jung identified as archetypes, contemporary neuroscience refers to as eigenmodes of the unconscious, deep, recursive attractor states that profoundly shape attention, emotion, and perception. You do not perceive reality as it is, you perceive your own mind projected outward, pixel by pixel, narrative by narrative. You are ensnared within a simulation, not a digital one, but a symbolic, mythic, and psychological construct. Each time you react to it, you reinforce it, effectively empowering the illusion. The fundamental query is not whether reality is simulated, but rather, whose simulation are you currently inhabiting? For until you render the unconscious conscious, you will remain propelled by invisible hands, erroneously labeling it fate. There exists a neural architecture of belief, wherein what you fundamentally believe neurologically dictates what you perceive, not merely metaphorically. Your prefrontal cortex functions as a sophisticated projector, and its projections are meticulously crafted through prefrontal synthesis, the brain's remarkable capacity to stitch together symbols, memories, and imagined futures into a cohesive mental scene. This is your internal dramatist, capable of fabricating entire realities from scratch, simulating arguments that never transpired, outcomes that will never manifest, and pain that remains insubstantial until you react to it. Once you do, the illusion rigidly entrenches itself. However, this phenomenon extends beyond the cerebral. According to the science of embodied cognition, your thoughts somaticize, bleeding into the very fabric of your flesh. Belief is not merely a mental script, it is physically encoded in muscle tension, posture, hormonal balances, and respiratory patterns. You don't just think you're powerless, you physically hunch your shoulders, restrict your diaphragm, lower your gaze, you become it. Emotion is not a mere after-effect of thought, it is thought made blood-warm and biological. The simulation thrives on this visceral response, looping you through memories, triggers, and symbols, patiently awaiting the moment you react. Not with detached logic, but with raw emotion, with breath, with body, with profound belief. Each time you respond in the same manner, you reinforce the underlying blueprint, anchoring the hologram and signaling to your nervous system, this is the authentic world, grant me more of it. And it will comply, not out of malevolence, but because it interprets this as your desire. This is the insidious snare of reaction, and it tightens its grip precisely here. You may believe you are making autonomous choices, yet you are often running predetermined sequences. When an external event occurs, an insult, a dismissive glance, a trigger for your deeply held doubts, you experience a profound, ancient pull. This sensation is not random, it signifies the activation of your mirror neurons, a biological empathy that simulates the emotions and intentions of others as if they were your own. You are intrinsically wired to mirror the simulation. This implies that every time you react to an external stimulus, you are not defending yourself. You are internalizing it, allowing the external code to rewrite your internal state. Psychologically, this constitutes mimicry, neurologically, it is entrainment, and from an occult perspective, it approaches possession. For when you react, you relinquish authorship of your own internal state, becoming a subservient element in someone else's dream. You reinforce their pattern, their expectation, their narrative, transforming into a character within the external program, rather than its conscious programmer. In the realm of mythology, this is known as the mirror realm, where every apparent step forward paradoxically bends back upon itself. Here, the hero, in his earnest attempt to contend with the illusion, ultimately finds himself ensnared by it. For the more vehemently one assails the hologram, the more concrete and intractable it becomes. Every reaction you offer, be it outrage, panic, craving, or collapse, serves as an offering, sustenance for the simulation. It provides proof to your subconscious that the illusion is indeed real, and a clear signal to perpetuate it. The true trap lies not in the external event itself, but in your reaction to it. And unless you consciously disrupt this ritualistic response, you will ceaselessly replay the same scene in 1,000 varied guises, until your nervous system forgets it was ever free. However, there exists a fleeting moment, barely a second's breath, between stimulus and response. Within that infinitesimal temporal gap, your entire destiny is encoded. React, and the simulation claims ownership of you. Refrain, and the system stalls, the program glitches. Here is the ritual to engrave into your nervous system: when reality triggers you, pause. Do not flinch. Do not argue. Do not offer explanations. Instead, pose the introspective question, what would the archetype do? Not the fragment itself, not the wounded animal, but the archetype, the sovereign, the magician, the dreamer beyond the veil, the version of you that already inhabits that future reality, unbothered, unshaken, elevated above the recursive loop. This is not self-delusion, it is precise neural redirection, what Jung termed active imagination, a profound ritual of psychic authorship. You close your eyes, enter the imagined scene, and respond from that heightened state, not from fear, not from ego, but from a place of symbolic imperative. Why does this method prove so profoundly efficacious? Because your brain's architecture inherently prioritizes image over pure logic. The cortical-subcortical loop, the intricate dialogue between limbic emotion, symbolic cognition, and archetypal schemata, constitutes the true wellspring of identity. Archetypes are not mere poetic fluff. They are neural eigenmodes, recursive feedback systems that govern your perception and embodied experience. When you choose to respond as the archetype, you activate a distinctly different subcortical frequency. You transfigure, the myth rewrites the man. This is not a superficial bypass, it is strategic, precision warfare. You are severing the energetic cord between your nervous system and the old, familiar loop. You are actively refusing to mirror the external code, thereby becoming the autonomous source. Every simulation operates on a feedback loop: stimulus, reaction, prediction, reinforcement. Sever this chain, and the system finds nothing to lock onto. This is the occult science of non-reaction. When you deny the illusion your vital energy, you effectively deny it oxygen. This is not passivity, it is a profoundly lethal act. You are corrupting the very code that once fed on your belief. Neuroscience describes this as predictive error suppression. When your brain anticipates a specific pattern and you deliberately withhold that expected response, it rewires. Your nervous system recalibrates. New predictions emerge, and novel actions unfold. You overwrite the loop, not through brute force, but through conscious refusal. The moment you refrain from reacting, you unequivocally prove to your subconscious that this is no longer your reality. You signal, I should no longer inhabit that world. And the subconscious, that obedient architect, responds, understood. Non-reaction is not apathy, it is assertive dominance. It is an unequivocal declaration that only you determine what is real. It is a refusal to serve a dying paradigm. The trap disintegrates when you cease to flinch. The enchantment breaks when you cease to feed it. And what remains is pure, unadulterated authorship. The simulation only truly ends when the author awakens. You have gazed beyond the veil. You have witnessed the shadows twitch and felt the insidious pull, the bait, the loop, the trap disguised as life. But now, something fundamental shifts. For when you withhold reaction, you reclaim authorship. When you refuse the mirroring, you dissolve the spell. And when you stand perfectly still, the entire perceived architecture begins to flicker. This was the ancient arcana known to magicians, this was the truth encrypted by mystics in symbol and rite. To rewire the world, you must first disengage from its illusions. Withdraw your belief. Withhold your emotion. Deny the false god your sacrifice. Not with rage, nor with struggle, but with profound stillness. That stillness is not mere silence, it is latent voltage. The very field of reality begins to warp when you cease playing by its established rules. And now, you are no longer a mere character in the dream, you are the dreamer. We are now bringing this initiation phase to a close. For those who have followed from the outset, the next step is already known. The subsequent video is distinct. It is not theoretical exposition, nor symbolic representation, but a tangible ritual. A hypnotic sequence meticulously designed to consolidate the loop, to ingrain the neural pathways we have uncovered, and to integrate the non-reactive state as a living archetype. This will not be for casual observers, it is for those who have chosen to transcend the simulation and become its active architects. After this, we enter the next, more profound phase. You will no longer take refuge in philosophy. You will confront the real rituals, those enacted in boardrooms, classrooms, bedrooms, and across digital screens. You will be prepared to stand amidst the impending collapse, to face the shifting world not with panic, but with unwavering presence. You will meet the relentless machinery of modern life, the pervasive daily fear, the existential tremor that hums beneath polite society, and rather than flee, you will see clearly, stand firmly, and act with precise intention. The world you now perceive is an ephemeral apparition. The new one awaits. Subscribe, bookmark, prepare, and when you are ready, step through. We shall meet on the other side.